We'll go.
Are we on?
I don't know. What's your coffee cup say?
It says McDonald Observatory.
Where's that at? In
that is in
the Marfa
Fort
area?
Davis.
Yeah.
Fort Davis, Texas.
Isn't that by Marfa?
It is. In Marfa, Terlingua, Alpine area.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
Is it good?
I go a couple times, 2-3 times a year to that area, so I love it. You can actually see stars over there. And
stars at night.
Stars at night. They're big and bright. The heart of Texas.
Yeah. That's not really the heart of Texas.
What, you know where the heart of Texas?
Brady.
Well, that's what the sign says, but I don't think that's
it's actually
the
Waco.
center.
It's
Is it Waco?
Heart of Texas Coliseum.
That'd actually be a good project for the fall, my Texas government class, is to identify the true heart of Texas, geographically speaking.
Okay.
Because it isn't Brady.
No, Brady's middle. More.
Brady's the center of Texas.
Yeah, middle. But
the heart would be kind of
on the left side.
Yeah.
Which is where Waco is.
Yeah, so Waco.
That's
West.
West,
Texas.
Yeah. Check stop bakery.
Are we on? Do we have audio? We have viewers, so that's good. They didn't bail on us. They're here.
Do we need to start?
I mean, we're on.
All right.
The viewers.
Welcome, Ram fans. Kevin Brooks, along with a allergic.
I'm allergic to
Minister
success.
of Culture, Manny Campos. Welcome to Ram Talk. Got a lot to cover today. Just back from, I guess we were gone about 10 days into North Carolina. The Triangle, I believe, as they call it there, in Cary, North Carolina. And
the city that always sleeps.
Anyway, so a lot of things to talk about. And, you know, for those of you tuning in that aren't aware, so the Rams went to the College World Series. It ended a great year. Started off with a win in Game 1 versus Wingate, 6-2, and then followed that up with a win against Seton Hill, and I think that one was like 8-2, 9-2. Then came back the next day and lost a heartbreaker, and we'll talk more about just the craziness that was to Wingate 5-4, and then ultimately fell to Wingate the next day 7-6 in 11 innings. So, but what a run! So many people, you know, it was crazy how many Angelo State people were there. I'm sure we'll delve into that as well. And just know how much I know we had a ton of support back home for those that couldn't make it to Cary. So thanks for tuning in. We'll hopefully try to go through all the great things it was this year. But it was such a special year, because of just the community of San Angelo and all you Angelo State people. So we thank you very much, and just very blessed. So with that, the Minister of Culture was able to make it to Cary. Missed Game 1, but was there for the rest. Anyway, was finishing up the farewell tour of Godspell. Is it the farewell tour?
25 years of Godspell, and I played piano the last 9 years, and we wrapped up that with a huge crowd at this river stage that Sunday when y'all had the final game. So of course, we were watching the game on the stage between songs and keeping up with the Rams, and I made announcements on the bus too. So that was it was cool. It was neat. I hated to miss, but I knew that next day I'd be on an airplane on my way to Cary. So
what were you've never been to the World Series in Cary. Well, just what were your general impressions of the week, and I take it you had a good, enjoyable time?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it was great. No gas stations. No,
it's so weird. It's so
green, and the
trees hide everything.
I told some of my compadres. I said, "Man, these are some really tall mesquite trees." So very green. The gas stations are within the woods. So as you're driving, you have to. And it rained about every day. It seemed like.
Yeah.
Which we powered through. But the ball field, I'd heard from other people that had been to Cary in previous World Series, because we've been how many times now?
Carry 3.
Carry 3 times. So they said, oh, you're going to love the ballpark. You're going to love the ballpark. And when you look online, you see kind of stock photos, and it looks like a ballpark, like every ballpark. But when you get there, it is pretty amazing. It's a great field, and you have to be there to kind of get the essence of that field and how accessible everything is, and it's just a pretty park. Now the problem is, of course, when it rains all the time, I know we try to power through, but it also doesn't help that it's about 98% humidity. So you just literally sit there and you're just doused in sweat. But I'd probably follow the Rams to Death Valley, California to play, so it really wouldn't matter where we were, how pretty it was, but it didn't hurt that it was a pretty nice field. But anyway, I enjoyed that. And what's crazy about it too is even though we were away, how many of those games? We were the away team.
We were 2-2.
2-2. So I thought, because we have a lot of momentum here in San Angelo, and really all our games, they traveled quite a bit, and I shouldn't have been surprised. But Cary being so far away, I mean, we had people that drove the 22 hours to get there. We had people that flew and came at different parts of the week, but it was like we were not away.
Right.
And I hear that all the time, but to experience that. You couldn't even get homesick. You didn't have the time to get homesick while you're there because everybody's there. So it was amazing. And then to look at home and Shenanigans and Parrot Head and the Alumni Center and so many venues across San Angelo were streaming this, and texts were coming in, I know, to you, to us, everybody was in our corner, even people that had never been in our corner before. So it was really cool to have people come together and see the community come together. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts.
No, it was awesome. Like I say, and that was one thing. Obviously, with the COVID in the past year, it really was hopeful that maybe we could be something to bring everybody together. And so I thought, our guys definitely succeeded in doing that, and just what great young people. Then some are moving on to bigger and better things, and then obviously we'll have a bunch back and try to do this again and make another run up there. Obviously, is the goal every year. So that's the one thing, getting there so hard, and we sort of get spoiled sometimes thinking it's a rite of passage. But man, it's a tough thing, and it starts now. So one thing too that we'll maybe hopefully get into, providing we have time, is last night. So we returned to San Angelo. We got back Sunday about 7:45, I think, at night. I think that was the time we got back. We had to fly into Austin and then drive the 3.5 hours back home. But really appreciate all the fans that welcomed us back. Definitely very appreciative of that. But anyway, so then I'm sorry, Saturday night, night, not Sunday. Anyway, then we had quite a few guys leaving to go play summer ball. For those of you that want to follow the Rams in the summer, we'll try to keep you updated on that. But two of our guys, Aaron Walters and Jordan Williams, are playing this summer in Alaska, up in Matsu area. And so they caught a plane yesterday morning. I think they left the house about 3 a.m. To fly to Alaska. I think they got into Alaska about 5 o'clock Alaska time. They had a game at 7. They showed up to the park, and they're both in the starting lineup. And both had good nights. Walters was 1 for 3. Jordan was 2 for 4.
I texted Troy Williams, who's Jordan's dad, and I said, because I was trying to find where to stream it. So I guess anyway, but I found
YouTube.
On YouTube, you can find it. Well, I texted Troy Williams and I said, hey, you have info tonight. I think Jordan's playing, right? He said, his quote was like, I'm not prepared for this. I didn't know. I thought he'd rest. I'm still on the road getting back from Cary, because they drove to Cary and they were driving back. So Jordan's dad was taken aback.
Yes.
He said surely Jordan would rest, but
he was
Jordan
supposed
Williams,
to. I think they had some sicknesses and stuff, and so they were thrust into the lineup.
Yeah.
But again, like the champions they are, they went out, they won, they played well. So, and then
Yeah.
Derek Wynn had a big grand slam
yeah.
home run last night in his first at bat of the summer. So, no, it does amaze me. One, just how much our guys love playing.
Yeah.
You know, like I say, they are tired, and we did expect Jordan and Aaron to get a few days. Their coach texted me about 8:30. He's like, "Hey, I know we were planning on giving them some days off, but I don't have players." I talked to them. They said they play. I said, "Well, they'll always tell you they'll play." So, but to go out and perform the way they did,
we'll have a slew of players throughout the country, right?
Yeah. So, you know, like I said, we've got the two in Alaska. We've got one that'll be in Minnesota. We got a ton in the Midwest, in Liberal, Kansas, Kansas City, Derby, which is a suburb of Wichita. Got a couple that were going out that unfortunately some injuries and stuff, and we got to get some things taken care of that won't be. But it's actually not as many as normal. A few less. So we got about 10 or 12 out. We generally have about 20.
Now, is it a HIPAA violation to disclose injuries from the World Series? Like,
we can say they're hurt.
Can we
you
say
can't
that,
say what happened?
So can we just?
I think.
Yeah, I don't. Hopefully, there are no legal people watching. But so they're good though, or they're gonna anything?
Yeah, no. I mean, we did. You know,
two, I think.
we can talk about the last game.
Yeah.
You know, because the last game was crazy.
Yeah.
As we're, you know, it's weird. I've been in baseball for 40-something years, and you know, the one great thing about baseball is you show up that day and there's a possibility you're going to see something you've never seen.
Yeah.
And in both our losses, I saw something I've never seen. I wish I hadn't seen some of them. But in the first loss, you know, we had we were down, came back, tied it up in the ninth inning at 4-4, and then got the first guy out, then we gave up a single. Then we walked a guy, I think. So we had first, second, one or two outs, and brought in Carson Childers, who was just amazing. He was our guest, I think, the last Ram Talk we had.
Yeah.
And he came in all weekend, was just unbelievable. He pitched in every game, was a huge factor in the two wins, and then did everything could in the two losses.
And he's coming back.
Win. And he will be back next year. Yeah, so we're really excited about that. And anyway, came in and it was raining pretty good, but not bad enough. I mean, I think you could play through it. And unfortunately, you know, his grip and stuff was low anyway, so he walked the next guy. So we got bases loaded, 2 outs, and in a dicey situation, gets ahead 0-1. Then I think throws a ball. Then we get it 1-2, and then 1-2. It starts coming down hard,
puddles all over the field.
Yeah. And so sort of how it works at Cary is, for some reason, the umpires aren't in charge. The NCAA is in charge, and so the NCAA was stopping the game with it a 1-2 count, and they were motioning stuff. Unfortunately, umpires didn't see it till we threw the next pitch. It was a ball. So we had 2 balls, 2 strikes, stop the game, get the tarp on, all that stuff. It rains for 3.5 hours. We sit there, so we come back out 3.5 hours later. Gave everybody 3.5 hours to sort of think on what are we going to do. And, you know, we ended up, Carson threw a fastball. Their guy was good. We were hoping he'd be a little stiff from sitting for 3.5 hours. Got a single, and we lost. So we sat for 3.5 hours, 1 pitch, game over.
Yeah.
So I've never had that.
Yeah.
Then on Friday, just, you know, we got ahead, then we got down, and then we got down by quite a bit in the middle, and this ultimately ended up being the run. We ended up losing in extra innings. So if this run had not scored, and you can always go back and go, if that, and you know. But this one was it was sort of a kick in the teeth. So they had the bases loaded, 2 outs. I think they're up 5-2 at this point, and or 4-2, and they get a hard single to right field. The runner at third is going to score, obviously, but the runner at second is hit so hard they just held him up. And we make a good throw to the plate, and it's rolling in to the catcher, and the ball hits the batter's bat. And it hits the bat, and we're everywhere. Everybody's right where we should be. We're backing up, all that stuff. Well, it hits the bat, caroms, the wrong direction, and so that allows for another run to score, which ultimately ended up being enough to send the game to extra innings. So never seen those two things before. Obviously, both those things did probably not go in our favor, but very proud of our guys and the way they competed in both games and battled back.
You had a quote, and I guess I'd seen it before, because there was a lot of thoughts on the airplane ride home and talking to each of the guys on the way back. But you posted, I guess it's a placard on Twitter that said, "The Angelo State University winning tradition will not be entrusted to the timid or to the weak." And I don't know if I'd never really, maybe you didn't pay attention, or maybe I'd seen it but didn't really think about it. And it really relates to kind of that situation. One of the parents said, whether it was Carson in his situation or, Tyler Mendoza was at the last at bat, the amount of pressure on our guys, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like that pressure, and just they must have nerves of steel. It's not for the timid or for the weak. None of those guys are weak.
No.
None of those guys are timid, and that's, to me, so I love that you posted that, because it was a reminder of how tough our dudes are and how tough they have to be. Because I don't think I could go in time and even remotely be able to stand beside those guys. And so I have so much respect for that tradition and that culture that we have.
Well, I think it's I hate the end of the year, and I really hate the end of career meetings. Mm-hmm. But we just went through a bunch of those. We still got a few more we got to wrap up later today and tomorrow. But those are always, we hear the same thing year after year from player after player, and makes us feel so good to hear. And that's the one thing I was talking to my wife last night, and obviously, still a little down over the result because we wanted more. Mm-hmm. But, ultimately what's important is the journey.
Absolutely.
And whether we would have finished first or finished where we did or even finished less than we did, I think the journey was the journey, and I think the journey was very fruitful.
Well, I don't think that I could be your minister of culture, your faculty rep, if the only thing that you guys wanted was a ring. Right. I think if that was the only thing you guys wanted and sought, I think I wouldn't be volunteering and giving all my heart to this organization. So I'm really proud. One of the things that I also love about our program and our guys is they find a way. They kind of get some slack from the pollsters, from what seed we are and expectations from community members. But at the end of the day, our guys found a way, and they went as far as we've ever gone in history. And I think it is tough competition, at least in baseball, and I don't think every sport's the same. And I think that it was a truly tough situation, and we overcame a lot of things, and that really is our dudes working hard, and you and your coach's leadership. So kudos to you guys.
Well, and the one thing, it's funny, so that sign, which I love that sign.
When did that go up, that sign?
That's what's sort of funny. So that was the very first thing I did as head coach of Angelo State when we started the program, which is a bit ironic because we hadn't played a game, so it might have been a bit preemptive. But, Angelo State, we win at everything. So it wasn't just the baseball program. And so I felt like we could use that again. And so that sign's been up since day one of when we started the program. And, so it's posted by right where our practice plan's posted every day, which is in the batting cages. So I know you don't go in there a ton. Yeah. So that's why. So it's something hopefully our guys see every day. But, you're talking about the pressure. And that was one thing. We talked about this on a Ram Talk opening weekend because I went back and watched the game against Tyler, and I got mad at the announcer because if you're going way back, game one, we go out, we dominate, we win 10-1. Game two, we dominate a lot, but we just couldn't get the big hit, and we got beat 2-1. So at the time, us two were picked as the top 2 teams in the conference, so you thought, hey, maybe the conference title's decided in week 1. And so this game 3 is a big game. And, we take every game very big. Doesn't matter when it is, doesn't matter who it's against. Yeah. They're all sort of the same. And they're all the World Series. Yeah. I mean, and we try to approach every game like that, which I hope allows us when we get to the World Series. But so in the pregame interview, he's like, this could be the game. I was like, yeah. I mean, this could be it. We've told our players, and he's like, well, wow, doesn't that put a lot of pressure on them? And I'm like, yes. I was like, yes, it puts a lot of pressure on them. But I was like, and that's the thing. So you look at pressure 2 different ways, and we look at it as, yes, we want pressure. I mean, that's why we work so hard. That's why our dudes are out playing this summer 2 days after, one season ended. They're trying to go get better. That's why they work in the weight room. That's why they do extra defense, fielding, throwing, whatever. Why would you waste all that time if the reward at the end wasn't great?
It's a good
point.
And
so pressure is something to be embraced, not pushed away. And so I think that's our dudes' mentality. We love it. We want it. And we're going to excel in it. And so, but like I say, I hope this team exemplified a lot, so many of the values that we try to instill in guys every day. And I really feel like hopefully all our teams do. Yeah. So anyway, what was your favorite non-baseball thing? Because I know you had some time for some excursions. I did not. We went to a Durham Bulls game. Yeah. And the NCAA calls us at 10 o'clock at night and says, hey, by the way, you play at 10 the next morning.
Instead of at 2 o'clock.
So we had to get home. But anyway, love the NCAA.
Yeah, no, they're great. I would say that the beach was nice, although it rained after about an hour there. So then the beach was over with. But, since I became a homeowner, my big nerdy thing is plant life and growing stuff. So they have a botanical garden.
Did you go with my wife?
I did not go with your wife. I actually went with the Floreses. Okay. Dr. Flores, shout out for being my taxi. Yes. But there were it was the most amazing thing because there were, I guess, divided up into groups like the type of plants for herbs and cooking, culinary stuff, or plants that are man-eating, carnivorous, plants. What? Yeah, I don't know what it scares you, but it's not like, what is it? Is it Little Shop of Horrors? Yeah, it's not Little Shop of Horrors, kind of crazy, but yeah. Then there are poisonous and just every different type of kind of.
They have poison ivy and poison oak. Yeah, I think Bree was like.
We don't know the difference though.
Touching this
and Dr. Flores kept touching. I said, look, this is poison ivy. Oh, really? And he starts touching it. I said, don't touch. Anyway, so he's okay.
Does he have the ivy?
He didn't have any. Maybe they were lying. Maybe it was false advertising.
See, I think Bree was eating fruit off stuff.
She was grabbing berries off stuff.
That might have been at the zoo.
That was pretty cool. And Duke was cool too. The old cathedrals, and it was funny because every time we would go somewhere, and for the folks out there in TV land, Robin Brooks, who I assume is Kevin Brooks' wife, was the other transportation
chaperone
in this huge. Think of I actually nicknamed her Robin Griswold because we were in this big minivan-ish kind of car. What was it?
I thought it was Suburban.
It was a Suburban, but we were like sardines in that car. And she's one of those people that if you go on a trip, she has to have 12 items for everybody to do every day. And I'm kind of the guy that didn't like agendas, so so it's one of these two things. So it's like, man, there's 50 people in a minivan and we're loading up and loading out, and but no, it was a good time and we got to see a lot of things. Otherwise, it beats staying in the hotel and just kind of watching the tube. But we kept running into the Morgans, Jake Morgan's family. We would show up at University of North Carolina and the Morgans pulled up right beside us. What are the odds? We went to Duke. The Morgans are there. And I thought, this is kind of comical. I don't know if they think we were GPS tracking them or what. But anyway, it was fun to do that and get out. And I feel like we ate all the time. So I think I probably gained about 10 pounds while in North Carolina.
Did you have like is there North Carolina cuisine? Oh,
seafood.
The seafood, yeah.
Yeah, I had
excellent.
mahi-mahi, which was really good, at this place called Cape Fear Sea Company. It was
Which
really good.
the movie is
there's a
based
movie.
upon. I mean,
restaurant?
that's where it allegedly took place. Yes.
But anyway, the food is really good there. But I also had Waffle House, which we don't have a Waffle House.
Everybody flocked to the
I love
Waffle House.
And, I don't know what it is. You sit up at a bar, and there's a really nice waitress who's kind of sassy, and has a pin in her hair.
Like
and
Allison
kind of,
Flo.
yeah. The only thing was missing was a cigarette in her mouth. But she was just like, what do you have? What do you have? I'm like, yeah, this, and that. And then she kept calling me babe and sugar, which normally that kind of upsets me. But I tell you, I just felt good about it. I felt like I was loved. Anyway, so it was the best food. And I thought, I can do this at home, but I'd rather have the Waffle House experience. So anyway, those are the non-baseball things that I enjoy.
Awesome. Now, okay, so what college campuses did you?
Duke and University of North Carolina.
Okay, didn't get NC State or Wake Forest.
I did not do either of those.
Okay.
No.
I've been to Duke, and I was like, God, this is Duke. But evidently,
The cathedral school.
there are two sides.
Yeah, there's two sides.
And I evidently, this is years ago when I
Years
first
ago.
went,
Yeah.
but that was the only time I'd ever been to Duke because I was quite shocked. But evidently, there's a very nice side that I just
well, and the
didn't see.
grass there, again, here I go back to the green stuff. Grass, you could just nap on over there.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
They
they
have really
brush
good
their
grass.
grass up in North Carolina.
It's very
Here it's
soft.
like picking stickers and all kinds of stuff, but it's
Yes.
really cool. But do we do 4 words if it's just you and I?
We can. How you can give it to me.
It's like such an honor, but okay.
I'll feel
take
it. Is this it?
I think this is it. We're 3 minutes away, I think. So
3 minutes
yeah.
away.
So 4 words, and Coach Kevin Brooks is in the hot seat. So
In the hot seat.
4 words from me.
No whammies.
Number 1, Ivy,
Okay.
Ocean,
Okay.
Chapel,
Okay.
Rosebud.
Okay. Took my dog Rosebud to the chapel overlooking the ocean that had ivy on its walls, and it was a magnificent experience.
Magnificent.
Magnificent. Magnificent experience. But magnificent,
It's a
I think if you, in Canadian, that's how they say it.
Yeah, but
So
those
I was
Canadians.
trying to be international as well.
Well, yeah.
That was a pretty good sentence.
That was decent.
And did you like the
Long.
way I threw
Run
in
on
Rosebud
Rosebud.
as a dog?
Yeah. Is
What-
it
there's
Rosebud
a
from a movie?
Rosebud from a famous dog.
Was
Is
it Rosebud the last words of somebody in a movie? What is it, Citizen Kane?
Citizen Kane.
Yeah, Rosebud, and then whatever.
Is Rosebud a dog?
No, Rosebud. What is Rosebud?
Rosebud was a sled.
Was a sled? Oh, see, there you go.
Childhood toy.
Our fans are
A sled?
sled. Yeah, Citizen Kane, y'all. It's one to watch.
That's a classic.
Yeah, absolutely, it's a classic.
Is Charlton Heston in that?
I don't know who's in that. Our producers aren't. Well,
We'll have to fact check that.
we're going to circle back and let you guys know next week.
Well, guys, I think that's about it. We're out of time. Thank you so much for all the support this season. I think we'll be back in the summer. We got to check and see what the schedule is. But
Check with our producers.
And then we'll be back next fall and ready to go and back with another season around baseball. Thank you so much for all your support, and what a great ride it was. We'll see you next time. Go Rams.